Hey, this is Ace here with Hillbilly How To's. Today I'm talking about rods and reels. What size of rod and reel do you need? It depends on what type of fishing you're doing. Depends on what type of fish you're after. Each rod, if you're going to buy a rod, each rod has very detailed information about the rod on the rod itself. So, like this one says ultra light. So there's all different sizes of rods. So you got ultralight, and then the next size is light, and then you have like a light to a medium, and then medium to heavy, and then heavy, and that is it. So it depends on what size of rod you want, and it also even gives what pound test they recommend as far as line. As you can see, this is like as low as you can go as far as I know, ultralight, which is 2 to 6 pound. Test line is what's recommended. Of course, if you go up, higher than that, you're just taking a chance on breaking your rod. If you're fishing for, stuff bigger than that. If I'm fishing crappie or bluegill, something pretty small, I go with either ultralight or light. If you're stepping on up and you're looking for, pretty big bass, I might even go up to like a medium. If you're saltwater fishing, you're fishing for sharks, you're fishing for, redfish, bigger fish, then I go on up to medium to heavy, sometimes heavy. Don't go too far over medium heavy though. When you get way on up to heavy, the rod is super stiff. And when it's saying, ultralight to light, and you've got all these divisions, what they're talking about is the flexibility, of the rod, how strong the rod is and what it can take, With the ultralight, it's a very flimsy, very bendable rod. You got a lot of feel, so each division you go up, you have different control of your rod. So the lighter you get, lighter line, you have more control with your baits and making it more reel-like with working your baits and stuff in the water. Now length of rod, casting. Like this one, it's a 5 foot, which it also tells that on the rod itself. It's a 5 foot rod. With something a little bit heavy, a little bit of weight, maybe a 1 ounce or something, you can sling this pretty good ways. But if you go up to like a 12 foot for saltwater, that's when you can really cast a long ways with like a 12-foot rod. All right, and as far as reels, I match the reel with the rod. I do a smaller reel, of course, for a light to ultralight rod. When you're going up heavier, you go up to something this size, and then going on up even heavier than that, you go up to something this size if you're saltwater fishing. Now a lot of people saltwater fishing, they bring out these big rods and reels to saltwater fish, especially if they've never saltwater fished off a pier before. You don't technically need that big of a rod. You can even use like a medium or even a light to medium rod for catching like spot and whiting, croaker, dogfish, stuff like that. You don't need a heavy rod. A 10, 12 pound test like a bass rod worked just great, and it does still give you a fight when you're catching those fish. Now if you're going to the end of the pier and you're looking for sharks and stuff big, then you want to move on up to that medium heavy, at least to a heavy, more line at 40 pound plus. I've even used 30 pound, and I feel like I can about bring in anything that we could catch off of a pier. You just have to kind of work the fish and wire it out before you bring it in. So I hope this helped you. If you're going out to buy a rod and a reel, I wanted to explain more of, like the details of it.